All right, guys, we got Solar in the bottom right side of the map and BYUN as well. What an amazing team. I mean, who could ever beat these guys in 2v2? Oh, God, hold on. It's T1 Hero and MARU. MARU for onside, Hero for T1. What in the world? This is a 2v2 to get excited for. And this is a best of 3, guys. Let me fix that scoreboard there. This is from Uthermal's recent bonus cup number 6. You guys know Uthermal's been running basically a 2v2 circuit. And this is what I love that he's running something different. Just creating, different fun games, putting a decent amount of prize money on it, and creating something fresh. And I wish we had more people doing this as well. We've started to throw new interesting maps into our weekly cups, but I'm really hoping as well to run some sort of modded tournament event of a slightly larger scale at some point in the future. Once I get my ass, get my hands off my, get off my ass and actually start organizing things. But I mean, for the moment, let's just see what happens. It's 2v2. It's Zerg Terran against Terran Protoss. People always say, but Terran Protoss is the best. Once they have Psystorm and Tempest and Mech, it's unbeatable. And I'm like, yeah, it is good, obviously. How often does 2v2 get to late game, though, without the game being decided? It's quite tough. Now, this is a good map reclamation. You've got a shad wall off there and then a slightly off-center wall off over there. But I think it's all about the aggression. And I think one of the best ways to play... There's 2 schools of thought around 2v2. The first is just hit a timing attack. If you have 2 players, you go for early reactor Hellions, Solar Masses Lings, you rush with both those units. Good luck defending that, unless you've got like a tank in a bunker up really early, right? So just join up for a big all-in is a really popular way to try and win. The other way is to play more of the macro style, but even the macro style is, yeah, we defend, but one player rushes into one harassment and then the next one. So it's like one guy rushes an Oracle in, and then the Terran goes for a double drop with Stim, and then there's Dark Templar behind that, and then the Terran himself sends a few libs in from the back door, and it's one player is kind of being greedy while the other player while setting up for their later wave, while the other player is getting in the opponent's face. And that's one of the best ways to play as well. But on this map where you've got such a compact base layout, we might actually see even more greed. We might see the players be a bit riskier. Hero is going to go for that Oracle. So it's 1 gate expand, 1 Rax expand. Bit greedier on the MARU Hero side of the map. Solar takes a 3rd hatchery whilst BYUN does delay his natural. Now, BYUN's opening is a lot safer here, right? He's going for a bit of a quicker setup, and he's going to rush an early Cyclone out for map control. So he's kind of playing this like a 2v2. Which I always say, if you're new to 2v2, playing it like a mirror matchup, sorry. Gosh, what is my speaking ability today? I always tell people, if you want to do a safe build for 2v2, play like it's a mirror matchup. So if you're a Terran, play a double gas opening. If you're a Zerg, go for a big Ling Bane pressure to potentially kill your opponents, but also keep yourself safe. Maybe do a 2-gate opening as Protoss and then go for some early unit pressure, because this sort of stuff will help you defend a lot of the cheeses. Where if you do the sort of greedy 1-gate expands Hero and MARU have done, 1 Rax expands, those are the build orders you get in big trouble with. Those are the build orders where if your opponents both cheese you, you can just die. But they've gotten away with it. I think Hero and MARU did send a probe scout, I believe. BYUN comes out here, and he's realizing, those Hellions actually beat me in a fight. I should probably get out of here. Good grenades, and the Reapers will jump away down that ledge. Overlord goes down. It is going to be Phoenix. Oh, Phoenix! 2-star Phoenix. Okay, 2-star Phoenix is an interesting style, guys. You can even send money to Hero as MARU in this scenario, help him get the Phoenix production started. And if the opponents have a Zerg, the problem is those Overlords are very juicy targets, which is why Solar's rallying them all to the right side, and they're going to have to try and defend it. The problem with Phoenix is they are nearly useless in a frontal fight, and I actually think this is the most overrated style in 2v2, and it has been for years. I remember playing 2v2s in tournaments and show matches with Winter years ago, and I'd played very little 2v2, and he'd always say, oh yeah, I'll go 2-star Phoenix and you send me money. This always wins. And the thing is, I realized that on ladder that might work because people are stupid, but against pro gamers, I very quickly realized they know how to hit timing attacks. And you might kill a bunch of Overlords, a bunch of drones, and be like, oh wow, we're ahead. But what if your opponents actually then know how to hit you with a whole ton of Stim Marines, tanks, and Roaches? How are you possibly going to defend that when the air player has nothing but Phoenix that'll get ravaged by the Marines? You can't. And that's why you often end up with the MARU player having to defend 2 players on his own. We'll see if this works out. I do think it's a bit dangerous. Oh, especially if you already lose 2 Phoenix. The double Cyclone Marine doing very well there. Only 1 Spore Crawler in the main here. And that 3rd base does come out. Let's check the worker count, guys. It is going to be for our red team 50 plus 40. So just below 90 workers and about 86 for the other team. They're both very close, so very even workers on both sides. Zerg is up 1 base, of course, but that's not a huge deal. And Spire goes down for Solar. I think it's because he figures the natural transition off of this Phoenix is going to be carriers. So how do you deal with carriers? How do you deal with Tempests? Well, Corruptors, and Corruptors also do well against the Phoenix. So this way, you're going to have MARU playing full mech. Oh, so he is going to go mech. Interesting. So MARU's going to play mech. BYUN is going to play bio. How the heck does this match up? Well, Roaches for Solar do block MARU's Hellions. I think at this point, you see a ton of Blue Flame Hellions. You should know what's going on, and I think Extra Tech Labs is the name of the game. BYUN's already getting Stim and Shields, and he'll probably start Marauder production soon. He's got a 3rd command center almost finished. These Phoenix still going to be grabbing these gas. Don't chase too far, BYUN. He could turn and get you very easily. Hellions on the left. Those Marines very weak right now. Hellions could blast them, but the tank does really help defend. I think that's a good defense there. If the Marines didn't have the tank, maybe that would be a bit scarier. Marines do push away these Phoenix. And you can see +1 air weapons and Forge is now on the way. I think they just kind of thought on this map we can't just do a big push. But realistically, what does the Northern team have to defend, guys? They have 10 Phoenix, 1 Stalker, 2 tanks, and a few Blue Flame Hellions. This is what I'm talking about. If there was no 3rd command center and instead BYUN had gone single engineering bay, 5 barracks, and Solar just committed to mass +1 Roaches or something like that, I don't think Hero and MARU can defend it. Even if you have a few tanks in good positions, how are you going to defend just mass Roach Ravager and all this sort of stuff? I really think this 2-3 Stargate Phoenix style is massively overrated unless you get big momentum early. And so far, they've killed 15 drones, seems like a lot. Solar's still on 64 workers. He's still in a great position. I actually think this is going to be just all about the late game transition more than anything. And I mean, MARU's got 4 tanks at a time. He should be able to defend. The question is, how quickly can you transition into Storm and Tempests? Because you're going to need Storm, you're going to need some Archons. Fleet Beacon now goes down for Hero. They're doing a good job of staying active. But Solar and BYUN are Solar and BYUN. These guys aren't late game gods. I imagine they commit to a huge attack here. 1-1 upgrades almost done for Terran. You've almost got Carapace for the Corruptors of Solar. I think you just go with Roach Corruptor Bio Tank, right? I think pushing earlier rather than later would be good. Especially if you go around this left side. There's no tanks covering there. You could at least deny a base or two and make it hard for those tanks to defend. Phoenix count's kind of scary. 16 against just 14 Corruptors. +1 air weapons for the Phoenix. But once the armor kicks in for the Corruptors, it'll negate that attack upgrade, and the Corruptors should easily win that fight. Pig, in this tournament, sending money is actually not allowed until 7 minutes into the game. Oh, that's cool. Okay, because people always figured those strategies were a bit too dominant or whatever, a bit too strong, a bit too abusable. I don't actually know if they are that strong or that abusable, but I think it's probably more interesting this way. Ooh, it just makes it easier to follow what's happening, because otherwise it's too hard to figure out when money's being sent. It's too hard to like commentate and follow the action, I think. So just in terms of actually understanding what the heck is going on in the game and trying to predict what your opponents are doing makes it a little bit more predictable. StarCraft 2 is already such a fast game. Mass Roach Corruptor, 2-2 vehicle weapon starting for BYUN as well. I really feel like they've got to make a move soon, though. Carriers are coming in, as well as Onion Pulse Crystals for the Phoenix, +2 range for them. Corruptors, Solar, get out of here. Oh, Hellions, roasting and a toasting. Managed to get another 10 drones there, 11, up to 26 workers killed. Mama's on the way. Mothership's going to be huge the bigger these battles get. Time Warp's so good. Just for pushing an army back, right? And letting your tanks get in position. 2-2, a few Cyclones coming out. I think MARU would probably be better off not going too many more Cyclones. I think more tanks and more Thors for him. He's going to move some tanks here. He's got kind of covering the edge. One Phoenix does go down. Tempests are on the way. 3 more barracks building for BYUN. He's going to go 8 barracks very shortly. Cyclone skirmishing. MARU does win that Cyclone trade. Takes out one of BYUN's. Now the Phoenix does go down. Tempests are coming out. He's built 3 carriers, but they, of course, have to stay back away from the Corruptors in order to do their thing. Seems like MARU, because Mass Corruptor got forced out of Solar, and this is the problem with being stuck on Mass Corruptor, guys, is all they do is kill the Phoenix and the carriers. They can't help break the ground. Which means it's BYUN and MARU are basically playing a 1v1 on the ground, and the Corruptors just have to help defend from the air units, and that's about it. Ooh, he's going to lose at least 2 or 3 Corruptors here. Did get some damage on a carrier. Almost killed it, but not enough to actually kill it. I'm going to remove that production tab, guys, just so we can see the screen a bit more. I know some of you probably like staring at that, But I think for most people, it might be a bit of information overload. And I think as the armies are vying for position, it's more important to watch what happens with the army. Corruptors trying to fall back. Cyclones are going to be locking on. Obviously, I'll turn that production tab back on at various points in the game. Just not right now while they're skirmishing. Corruptors moving to the left. Here we go. Biostims in. He's going to isolate a few cannons. Very well done. BYUN and Solar have some very good economy. We do have more Tempest building. Thors are going to be added in next up for MARU as he activates his cloaking field. How many Corruptors versus Phoenix have the trades been, guys? It feels like the Corruptor count's getting awfully low. There's still 24 on the map, but Mama comes forward. Oh, Time Warp's big. Got to pull out of that Time Warp. Massive Time Warp there. How many Corruptors have gone down, guys? We need to check that, but the fighting just does not end, does it? Here we go. Little Hellion Run By is going to go in and roast a bunch of BYUN's workers. Already killed a few Solars from the high ground. Oh, this is huge, actually. No one's paying attention because the front fight is so important. SCV's pulled away. A few Ghosts will eventually deal with that. Ghosts are light units, but I think they do a lot of damage against the Hellions. Hellions continuing to do damage on the other side. MARU's so good on his multitasking. Tempests are now going to start to slowly range, but dude, the tank volley for BYUN gets a whole bunch of tanks, but then he walks into MARU's units while being distracted by those Hellions, which I think the Hellions are finally about to go down. The Queen doing almost no damage there, but it looks like those Hellbats actually got F2'd home. Units lost tab, guys. 28 Corruptors went down for just 10 Phoenix, 3 Tempest. So the Corruptors took really bad trades. He's also lost more workers, has Solar. Solar's up on 75 workers, but he doesn't have much bank. His supply is dangerously low, and his Corruptor count's only at 24 right now with 1-1 upgrades. That being said, Hero so slow to get +2. You'd think when you're playing pure air, you'd get that up a bit earlier. I also thought he'd add Storm. I truly feel Storm with a handful of Tempests is the best transition. Because that plus Mech, if Mech has Storm protecting it and some Tempest to range, that's all you need. But focusing on the upgrades, so many Phoenix and Carriers, I think for Hero was maybe potentially a misplay. Mass Cannon Battery on the left, but the Bio springs around. Roaches on the right side denying that Planetary from coming up. This Bio's gonna stim away, saying Mech and Sky Toss is not a mobile comp. And that's why you need to have a few tanks spread around these bases. You got to have tanks everywhere. Just 1 or 2 tanks behind those cannons and batteries would have scared BYUN away, as would have a High Templar potentially with a Psystorm to zone, but BYUN gets 2 more base snipes, and this is good because it's going to give Solar time to add Vipers to remax, and he's going to be able to run away. He does lose almost all of his medevacs though, so he's got to be careful, does BYUN. Doesn't want to lose these units. Planetary gets up on the other side. BYUN's saying, bro, go take a leak. Solar's like, mate, that's on the other side of the map. It's really far away. I'm not sure if I want to abandon your units like that. I think I need to stay with you. But I think BYUN wanted him to go pee on that Planetary Fortress. Double Nexus goes down here for Hero trying to rebuild. The lack of Psystorm really, to me, seems like a massive oversight. Like, what's covering your Tempest on the ground? There are 10 Thors now. That is a lot of Thors. One Tempest goes down. A couple Corruptors are going to fall. I don't know what that sound is, guys. What was that sound? I just heard some Zerg units popping. That sounded StarCraft 1 style. Oh, I forgot. I changed my alert for super chats on YouTube. That was not an in-game sound. I was like, that's a StarCraft 1 egg hatching some Zerglings. Why can I hear that? I forgot I added the new sound effect on my stream. Tanks are getting broken there. Roaches moving forward, trying to break the Thors, but there's too many. Dude, MARU's mech army is carrying Hero's army. It did its job just by forcing Solar into mass Corruptors that it's going to do nothing against the ground. So even though he's going to clear up the air, I don't think BYUN can break through the Thors. Even the 2-2 Bio against the 3-3 Thors, tanks in the back. And even though the Corruptors kind of overwhelm... Oh, look at that. They don't quite overwhelm, do they? Oh, I think they do, actually. The cloaking field is very nice. MARU's Thor transition, absolutely Chad mode right here. And BYUN doesn't quite have the numbers against this ground. I mean, he's going to try to push forward, but you can see he doesn't. He's going to kill like a few tanks. Oh, he does get a lot of the tanks. Corruptors come in as well. But look at that. There's more Thors that are reinforced on that top left. And the moment they start firing, it's tough. Solar's Roach is also more of a mid-tier unit. And getting stuck on mass Corruptor just doesn't feel that good. I do feel they could have hit a timing. I really think Solar and BYUN should have just hit a Roach Marine tank medevac timing. And if you really want to go all in with it, throw a Nidus in the back for the Roaches at the same time as you're attacking the front and denying the bases. And even if you just deny some of the expansions and then transition into your Corruptors and elsewhere, I think it would have been really hard for Hero and MARU. But you guys tell me if you agree or not. I'm always curious in 2v2 games, but I remember having that lesson so many times that you're like, oh, we're killing drones, we've got Phoenix air control. And there's just this massive window when you're playing 2-3 Stargate Phoenix where you're just like, we don't have anything, like like MARU has to be able to defend both armies on his own. And between this 7 to 9 minute mark. I mean, you can see Hero's kind of aware that he's building cannons, but what are cannons really going to do if there's a mass roach friggin' bio army running through? The cannons are going to do nothing. And the 16 Phoenix, as long as you've got like 30 Marines in the back of your army, they're going to beat that pretty easily. By the way, I didn't catch this attempted Doom drop. Hats off to MARU for having so many turrets so early in the game, realizing the threat. He was like, no. We have to make sure this is a complete no-go area. But yeah, I think that's the way to do it. I think if you both do like a kind of 2-base timing, where you've got a third command center or a third hatchery on the way behind it, and then once you get forward with that army, you very quickly take 4th bases, 5th bases, and transition upwards. Because I think if you get stuck on Mass Corruptor, the problem, as we saw, is they just can't help you overwhelm the ground, and it gives your opponent all the time in the world. As long as the air army stays behind the turrets, the Thors, the cannons, the tanks, if you can't break through, the Mech Skytoss army is going to have time to max out, and that's always really hard to deal with. Either way, GG, well played. Great game 1 for Hero and MARU. All right, guys, going game 2. Hero in the bottom right side with MARU. We're on Rohana. Wait, this is the racist grandma map, guys. Rohana is the Protoss racist grandma, the purifier. She's a purifier, right, guys? Is she? Or whatever she's called. Maybe she's not a purifier. I think purifiers might be the robot Protoss. Anyway, point is, she's like the friggin' racist guardian who thinks Terran are gross because they have orifices that they communicate with. She's like, these lesser species, they haven't even learned how to use their mouths, or how to use their minds. They still have to use their mouths to communicate. Ugh, yucky. She's still the best part of that campaign. She's a preserver, right? Purify is the robot, so she's a preserver. Yes. Yeah, Async's got my back. Thank you, Async. Oh, hatchery barely goes down. We're almost playing a 1v1 here. Solar wisely gets that hatchery up nice and fast. And SCV is going to come down for BYUN trying to defend. BYUN's going to go double gas again. BYUN just, I think, feels safe for doing this. And this is very classic. If BYUN's on your team and you've got a Zergs don't like drone scouting. BYUN doesn't like SCV scouting. So these guys never work as scout. And that's why BYUN feels like he's got to go double gas, right? Because he's like, well, dude, I mean, what if they're cheesing? We don't know. Whereas Hero and MARU are much more confident playing 1-rax expand, 1-gate expand openings. Because they scout early and they go, oh yeah, you're not proxying. Oh yeah, you've gone hatch first. I think this is, I do prefer Hero and MARU's opening a little bit. I don't think it's a massive difference, but I do like the joy of that 1-rax expand. Dude, we just got another super chat. Thank you so much for the $2 Luke. And I love that Zergling sound. I know you guys can't hear it on the YouTube video, so sorry, I should probably stop mentioning it, but I love the StarCraft 1 sounds, and especially the different Zerg units hatching from eggs is so satisfying. There's something about the sounds, like they're so much more basic, but sometimes I absolutely love the, I don't know, I love something about kind of crappy sounds in games. Like, I don't know what it is. There's this joy when a video game has kind of crap sounds to it. And StarCraft 1 sounds legitimately good. They don't even sound crap. They just sound a little bit less refined, I guess. A bit messier, maybe. Anyways, point being, been playing Slay the Spire for the first time. The original game. And then I've got to get on the second once. That's, once I've done with the first one. And my intro to that game that I keep telling people that made me love it is when I was fighting a cultist was the first guy I fought. And it's like a dude... It's like a Birdman type guy, and you attack him, and then it goes to his turn, and he goes, "Caw!" And it literally sounds like the game dev was just like a student in their dorm who's just like recorded on a shitty mic, just going caw into the microphone, and they're like, yeah, that'll be the final sound for this enemy. And I frigging loved it. I was dying laughing, but also just like, this is amazing. I don't know why this sound effect will like... sometimes there's something about a sound effect or like a bit of graphic or something not blending into the background, but almost being obtrusive. And it actually sometimes, for whatever reason, I love it. Anyway, Mass Ling Hellion. This is the build I was talking about in game 1, guys. Mass Ling Hellion pressure, going to be hard to stop if your opponents don't have a wall off. 2 Hellions are coming out for MARU. Hero needs an Oracle. Okay, he's got an Oracle. Oracle will defend this, but it's going to take a while to clean everything up. Oh god, they need to pull back to their high grounds. If they pull back to their high grounds, it's not too bad. The problem is, Hero and MARU caught with their pants down. 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion, mass Zergling Flood. A bunch of them go after the Stalker on the natural. Hero does wedge that Stalker in the mineral line nicely. The Oracle is going to save the day with energy recharge, but not before a fair bit of damage has gone down. The Stalker's gone down in the mineral line. The Reaper Hellion running to the right side there for BYUN. I think he should have gone in the main. Why'd he pull back, guys? He should get inside that main base. Like I said, they need to wall them off because the Oracle can only cover one side at once. Maru's Hellions are microing like god tier right now. The Reaper Hellions going to pick off a bunch more probes in the main. The Lings are trying to surround the Hellions at the same time. Let's see, did the Hellions go down? It looks like the Hellions got surrounded. There are 2 more on the high ground, but that means these SCVs are going down. It means these probes are falling as well. An excellent start, and of course, they should be transitioning behind. But wait, are they all in? Solar's still rallying Zerglings. I think that might be an overcommitment. At a certain point, you've got to start droning, surely, because the 3 warp gates are going to come up. Hero still has not managed to wall off this base, though. Maru, if Maru didn't have to worry about Hero's main as well, this might be better. 3 Stalkers are warping in up there, which does seal the entrance. Maru is losing more and more SCVs on this natural, and you know what? Here's 4 Marines and a Cyclone, which means the Oracles can't even go down to that natural. You know what? The rally was a good choice. I thought it should have just been a light pressure or a one and done. But these guys knew much better. 1 Oracle falls. The other one does survive as the Marines go down. Hero Stalkers trying desperately to defend this with the help of the Hellions. Let's do the brass tacks at the end of that, guys. The blue team, who went aggressive, lost about 2,500 to 2,600 resources, whereas about 33, almost 3,400 for the other team. And of course, a total of 37 workers going down. Most on Hero's side, 23 for him, 14 for Maru. That's a big cost. If we do a worker tally right now, you can see that our blue team, Solar and BYUN, are at almost 60 workers. Very similar worker count, and they've got another wave coming in right behind it. These guys are playing so aggro right now. They don't want to give Hero room to get going, and they want to punish the fact that he's trying to open Stargate. If you go Stargate, you just don't have a lot of units to ground support your ally, and even though Oracle is a good unit, if you're both going 1-rax expand against these more aggressive builds, beautiful tempoed aggression here from BYUN and Solar. Solar's still only on 21 workers, though. That's the problem. They might be throwing this game, man. I think this is yeah, I don't know. They've done some good damage, but Solar's just rallying Lings to his death, and it's like, I think they could have droned up so hard behind this and got a lead, but BYUN and Solar are still going for broke. Stim's kicked in. But look at this, the SCVs get pulled off the line. Some Stalkers do go down. The SCVs fighting on their own is going to be a problem. The Marines just need to focus as many SCVs as they can. The tank is up. The SCVs quickly pull away. Stalkers are going to commit on top, but how many Stalkers will die for that siege tank? He focuses the stasis trap, does BYUN. Cyclone locks onto the Oracle, but the bunker is up. It's got a Marine inside, and they will chill. Solar, still not droning. He's on 3 hatcheries. No drones at all. I mean, this is very much how Solar plays StarCraft, isn't it? It's just, I'm going to try and kill you. Now, Maru, unfortunately, doesn't have many Marines in the bunker. He needs to get more Marines in that bunker. And the bunker is far out front, which means it's not going to get dealt with. Oracle tags. And Hero, if he can get a stasis trap up, it would be massive here. But BYUN's going to start to slow siege this with a tank. Tank's pretty far forward. Oh, the Stalkers coming forward is crazy. Siege tank does do a lot of friendly fire. Bunker goes down. Marines are on top of the Oracle and Stalkers. Oh, Hero's forces starting to go down. Maru's like, please give me a second. I'm building 5 Marines in a tank at a time, but they're not out just yet. Neither is the Dark Shrine, which Hero decided to build on the front because he's Hero and he throws buildings wherever the hell he pleases. He does not care about them being safe or hidden. He says, yeah, I got a Dark Shrine. What are you going to do about it, mate? BYUN's like, well, I do have 2 command centers with a 3rd on the way, so actually I can do a lot about it. BYUN has had a good macro transition, guys. He's on 40 workers. It's just that Solar is still completely all in on nothing but Zerglings. And you know what? Turns out that was the right call, because it does allow them to bust open the front and get the damage done. Maru and Hero trying to play very defensive, trying to play a little bit too greedy. They try to hold the ramp on the right side with Zealot Stalker. The Marines and Maru with shields coming in. Oh, that tank only barely goes down. 1 survives, and Maru's tank will fall as well. You could see it was struggling, changing targets, figuring out who the hell it should fire on. And on the right side, Hero is surviving for now, but he doesn't have charge. Maru's natural's been overwhelmed. Hero's natural's been overwhelmed. And actually, charge is going to get denied. Twilight Council's on the natural as well for some reason. I guess he never built a pylon in the main. He did, but only in the corner of his main base. So fair call. Very, very Hero building placement this match. Yeah. Why no Zealots? I think that's the reason. Without charge, I mean, slow Zealots aren't going to be amazing. They would help buffer a little bit. They would be a cheaper unit to make, but Hero is kind of low on unit production all about. Slow Zealots aren't a very maneuverable unit, can get gunned down by the enemy range units. You kind of rely on the Zerglings running into them to find effectiveness. But I think Hero losing those early Oracles meant he lost his renewability. His ability, if he kept the Oracles alive, the stasis trap follow-ups would have been so big. You know, if he could get out a stasis trap or 2, they could get up a tank in a bunker. Suddenly the Lings can't flood in against that. You can hold on. But BYUN and Solar just completely committing. Solar finally droning, by the way. Can you believe it? 5 minutes of non-stop Zerglings. MARU and Hero finally throwing the towel. That was a narrow victory. I do think if Solar BYUN droned up earlier, they probably could have just got a solid lead off of it. But taking advantage of Hero and MARU just playing so greedy. 1 gate expanded to Stargate. 1 Rax expand into Reactor Aliens. Both of these players not having like the Zerg production where they can just make 30 Zerglings suddenly. And with no wall off, I mean, that's just so dangerous. To be fair, could they have just walled off down here to begin with? I think they could have. I think if they chose to at the start build a pylon down here and say, okay, your job is to wall off or Hero or MARU. You know, your job is to wall off down the front. You could do it there, but it's a pretty wide open area. And it does feel a bit awkward. Like a single player walling, that's going to struggle. And trying to plan a wall off between 2 players, it's absolutely something you can do, but you've got to account for the fact that this guy's in the game. And can you imagine trying to wall off with Hero? You'd be like, okay, I just need you to wall off the right side. I'll wall off the left side. You get down here with your SCV to build the depot as MARU, and there's a pylon like in the middle. And you're like, Hero, you meant to wall on the right. And he's like, yeah, the right. And then he builds a gateway here. And you're like, do you not know right from left? Like walling off with Hero as a teammate, I think the only way that works is if MARU does the wall off on his own, because Hero does not know how to wall off. All right, guys, we know what they say, out of the frying pan into the rust bucket. That's right, this map is called Rust Bucket. In the bottom right, we've got Solar and BYUN. And we've got, of course, in the top left, Hero and MARU. Now, do you have a shared wall off on this map, guys? Let's take a look. It looks like you do. It's down here. Once again, very wide open ramp. And as I said, I don't think MARU wants to share a wall off with Hero for very good reasons, especially since he gets a nice expansion in the back. So it's only Hero who's going to have an expansion exposed out front. Do you leave him in the lurch? You're like, Hero, just 1 base. 1 base, the opening, and then take a corner expand. Oh, Hero managed to block this expansion. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Solar's base getting delayed here. Solar's at 350 minerals. Oh, my lord. And he finally takes the other hatchery. Dude, that's such a delay on that hatch. Really nice distraction here by Hero in the opening. And Solar, troubled by that. BYUN should take this base in the back immediately. I mean, you could take the one at the front and just say, hey, we've got to defend the front anyway. But surely the one in the back's a bit easier. You can see here, MARU expands to the back. Hero looks like he's doing a 1 gate expand. And he's very mineral focused, 16 on minerals. Wait, does he actually have 16 on minerals? Yeah, he does. They're all doubled up. Okay. Thought he might have just told this probe to click home on the minerals, at which point it'll count on the number as a worker mining, even though it's not there. Hero's Nexus is a good 10 seconds late because he was busy focusing on the probe. Not perfect builds, but it's Hero. He doesn't need perfect builds. He needs to annoy his opponents, and he's already messed with Solar's build quite significantly. BYUN once again going double gas. He loves his double gas. He wants that quick factory. And then he should be pulling off gas to go command center, but he's not. Oh, okay, there we go. He does pull off gas. Just a few seconds after I expected. There we go. 2 on 1 gas, 1 on the other for optimal mining. And we've got, of course, I imagine Solar pulls off probably on 88 gas. That's when he starts pulling these off one at a time. You can see quite a delay on the queens, though. Look how late that hatchery is. Oh, my lord. 2 minutes and 8 seconds, queens. His opening's been scuffed. Remember, the hatchery being delayed, it delays you're down a whole lava. But these 2 queens are 8 seconds delayed, which means your injects are 8 seconds delayed. This makes a big difference. Now, Solar tagging on the minimap saying, oh, yep, he's expanded. You know, these guys are playing greedy builds. Oh, only 1 Marine for MARU. Oh, wow, what the hell? MARU! Who the hell goes Marine first with no other units? Now he needs Hero to save his bacon. Already 2 SCVs have gone down. Not the best micro for BYUN. I think he could have done a little bit more damage, but delaying a lot of build time on the factory. So much repair time having to be used here. And that Adept will come up. He's going to go to the left, try and find this SCV as well. Mules are dropping in the main because the Reaper's down here. He doesn't want to lose a mule. And of course, this Reaper's just going to run around and wait for the Adept Shade to run out. And then he's got to run past. Good micro by BYUN. He will take just 1 hit here. And he should be able to escape or kill another SCV if he wants. On the front at the same time, a few Zerglings coming in. Oh, very nice. Very nice harassment here. Ling Bane Bust! Baneliness is on the way. More Zerglings coming for Solar. Solar says, hey, he's expanded on the low ground. These guys are wide open with no wall off yet again. Hero also didn't even wall off his ramp. What the hell, Hero? Hero doesn't even walled off his base. Is he trying to... He might be trying to bait this. Hero might be trying to bait this. This is either genius or stupid, guys. It's Hero. You choose. I have no idea. We only find out based on the result. The Adept is going to go down. The other one is well positioned. The Reaper could help deal with that. Surrounds the Hellion, though, very early. That Hellion's going to go down. Does get a few extra shots off, which is nice, though. And the Adept does go down as well. Still no wall off, but the Oracle with energy recharge is always going to be very good, unless you forgot to save energy for energy recharge. Oh, he's got energy recharge energy now. He needs to activate that, or they lose. He needs to activate the energy recharge right now. He's down to 10 energy. If he doesn't activate it, he does activate it. Hero does it just in time. Maru's safe with the wall off. Hero's going to fall back to his main. He does have a battery up and a second Oracle about to emerge. Does he stop to kill the Baneling Cocoons? I think that's probably his best call, but there's a new Baneling coming in. That Baneling could go towards the work line. There's a second Oracle up north. Hellions on the right side. These Marines need to stay on the high ground. I think they could block your Hellions is the problem Maru might run into. It's a Bane bust combined with what is going to be Cyclone Marine following this up for BYUN. BYUN's only got a few Reapers and Hellions for now. The Oracles are doing so well with energy recharge against this. The Hellions really well made against the Ling Bane, but with no room to micro, Maru is getting them surrounded eventually. Hero's Adept wanders over here. Probably should have left that in his own base. He's trying to throw some pylons up. Hero is supply blocked right now, unable to make a third Oracle. There's no Cyclone here just yet. If they get a Cyclone and these Oracles go down, this is a real problem for Hero. I feel like that's what you need. The Medevac arriving with a Cyclone and 2 Marines. And that will spell a big problem for Hero if BYUN decides to actually unload sometime today. He does, and that's going to be a dead Oracle. Now, the other Oracle will kill a Marine and then go after his Cyclone in the meantime. Of course, BYUN can pick up and unload as he needs. He's going to unload it now, gets a new lock on. That Oracle will take damage. Medevac tries to chase it for vision, but it does escape. Siege Tank and Hellions are going to save the day. 3 Banelings running to the middle line. Hero, wake up! Hero does take some probe hits, but good spread. He actually minimizes the damage. Lings do surround the Siege Tank, but there's still 2 more Hellions where that came from. And guess what, guys? The Medevac, where is it? It's over here. He's picked up and dropped over here. He is denying mining time being a nuisance as well as he can, but there's still 2 Oracles on the front. This game is absolutely crazy. Solar's only on 2 hatcheries, doing nothing but massing Ling Bane. He's completely all in. BYUN has a decent transition behind this, but he's going to be playing 1v2. If Solar's still just doing nothing but Zerglings, and that is a real problem. BYUN picks off 2 more SCVs, flies away. Phoenix is going to deal with this eventually. Ling's coming in on the front with some Banelings behind, but I don't think there's enough support for that. Cyclone locks onto the Stalker. 1 Stalker will go down. Banes have to commit to the mineral line. The probe's running away. Great micro for Hero. As long as the probes keep running, and they do. And that is a very good hold. The Cyclone gets picked up behind the worker line there. Hero does finally drop it. The SCVs can kill that. Maru's SCVs finally kill BYUN's Cyclone. And the hold is complete. They're on 80 workers. BYUN's ahead on 46 workers, but Solar is on 20. He's completely all in. And Solar overcommitting to that all in, not quite getting the early damage. I think the fact that the first waves didn't really kill any probes was the big problem. And that's really what cost them there. Going for an early Ling Bane bust, he needed to get in this worker line and ruin Hero's income so that there was relative parity between the players. But Maru's Hellions distracted well enough. The Oracles, the energy recharges, gunned down so many. And you can see in the units lost tab, I think that's Solar's units lost tab, 3,500 resources, 104 units. Over 5,000 when combined with BYUN 1,600. And only about 1,700 units lost for both of the red players, Maru and Hero. Maru and Hero playing defensive macro style. Honestly, I think it's kind of crazy greedy the way they're playing and dangerous, but it did kind of bait the enemy into all-inning them. They did manage to survive even with a wide open main base. Hats off to them for pulling that off. Whoa! Aliens going forward. Cyclone trying to do a lock on as well. 2 hatcheries on the right side. Alright. Solar's still doing nothing but Ling Bane. Solar's play hasn't been the most inspired, but he's going to distract with BYUN in the back. Ling Bane on the front. The Ling Bane cannot bust this unless the tank's on siege. He's going to try and go for it. The Banelings are a bit too clumped. The force fields are actually pretty good. Even though the Banes get through, nothing else does. And those 3 tanks hold the line. Meanwhile, the Hellion Cyclone and a Phoenix managed to clean up all of the Marines in the back of the main. I'll have to rewind that one. Solar, I mean, Solar's doing classic Solar play, right? I choose when to go for units, and then I never transition off of it. It's not the most dynamic, but it is Solar in a nutshell. I mean, the fact that BYUN's still making, like, extra command centers, double eBay armory, while Solar's done no droning, to me, it feels like there's a communication snafu between the 2 players. I mean, Solar clearly should have started droning about 3 minutes ago. Even if he just went to 40 drones and then just made, like, nothing but Ravagers or something to try to help deal with the tanks. Like, that's a decent transition. I think this has been a bit of a communication snafu between the two players, where BYUN's playing tempo aggression, but he's also macroing. Solar's Ling Bane stopped finding any value several minutes ago. He's kept committing to it. The drop's just not quite good enough. The turret's shooting down the medevacs. The Marine's getting gunned down by the Hellion tank, and he's doing bits of damage, but bits of damage is just not enough. Look at this worker count we're keeping up in the top left. It's 110 workers for MARU and Hero. Meanwhile, Solar's just hit 29 drones, 60 for BYUN. 90 drones to 120 is, or 110 is not great. 20 worker advantage to the red team, but they've also got more tech. Solar doesn't have a lair or Evo chambers or anything else. Double drop goes in the left side. BYUN's basically hoping he can catch them out of position off guard, but without an attack hitting on the other side as well. Solar's typing in chat, and he's like, yeah, I think we're dead, man. I don't know what that says, guys, but I'm like, I imagine it's like, yeah, I think we're dead. Does lose the tank and a bunch of Marines. The medevacs try to pull away. I think Solar should be trying to work on these rocks, because anything he can do to open a new front would be... That's where the potential is. He's thinking about engaging the front. BYUN's scared. Solar says, oh yeah, maybe I can get rid of these tanks, but comes in a bit too late. Doesn't have any upgrades. He's only going to get one tank, and that's purely off of friendly fire, more than his own actual damage-dealing abilities. Hero here, I think, is saying GGG. Solar said, I want a GG. Yeah, I mean, Solar has not been droning for a long time. BYUN, of course, is never willing to give up. Solar, like I said, yeah, and then BYUN's going to lose this army, so he taps out. GG's, guys, and they will finally do it. I think, like I said, there's a bit of miscommunication in that it's like, look, if Solar's not droning, you need to be going all in as BYUN. Whether it's a pull the boys and try to break the front while doing that drop in the back or something like that. It's something of this nature where you've kind of got to make this happen right here, right now. But it felt like, you know, there was a bit of a disconnect where Solar had kind of thrown in the towel. And I'm not sure if there is a set shot caller between BYUN and Solar, but definitely something you got to watch out for is make sure you're on the same page. Oracle does go down, but the Blue Flame Hellions roast the Marines pretty nicely. And you can see he tries to move on top of the Marines so the Hellions actually shoot those. Cyclones clean up the tank. This is the fight we missed while that failed bust on the front was going in. Hats off to MARU and Hero, guys. They managed to defend the cheese. Was this something that they could have actually busted through? Because this felt like an odd game to me where I was like, surely they could have got more damage, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I was just thinking if they just literally do like 20 Zerglings with Ling Speed, no Baneling Nest, and then they just drone behind it and take a third base and keep macroing, I actually think this is like really good. I think the way Hero and MARU play is so bare bones on the defense. You can cause massive trouble without that big of a commitment. And the thing is, if you look at their scouting, they have no idea. All they do is scout with the worker at the start, and then there's like a 4-minute window, 5-minute window before the Oracle flies across. If your Zerglings go in with an early Ling Speed, I don't think they have any idea what they're up against. I don't think they're able to mine off this expansion for a really long time, and you could potentially do some good damage. But yeah, more Banelings there. I think they were thinking about busting MARU, I guess, but the Oracle, with that energy recharge coming in just in time. He was down to like, what, 8 energy? Maybe about 8 energy when he got the energy recharge. And then hard to get in that mineral line without some Banelings there, hey. And yet the follow-up was a bit too slow for BYUN in terms of like Cyclones and Marines getting here. It was just a couple Reapers, a couple Hellions. And those Reapers and Hellions obviously didn't want to sit under the Oracle. Just felt like this was too long without enough damage when you're down at 50 workers up against getting closer to 70 workers. GG, really good play by Hero and MARU. And Oracle saved the day, man. Oracle save the day. You know what you could do to make this work? Is if you proxy the factory and go for the Cyclone earlier, you can get a Cyclone here early enough to make this work. But if you don't proxy a factory, I don't think you can reliably make this work because Oracle just gets so much value. So as long as they wall you out from getting in a mineral line with anything like Banelings, your Zerglings can't really get surface area. There's a wall off there which you can't really bust because they can repair it. It's just a bit too hard to get going. Yeah, hats off to Hero. Believes in the Oracles, gets the whole GG, well played. Hero and MARU are absolute beasts. Thank you to Youth Thermal for hosting these tournaments as well. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.